They are fired up in Lincoln, Nebraska, as they always are. Nebraska won the toss and deferred. So that means the Nebraska defense will get ready. And it also means Adi Kanalik will tee it up to kick off. He's done a great job putting it where return men can't. Only that guy is one of the most dangerous in the country, Brandon Banks. Already with 4 kick return touchdowns this year. Banks will have to chase it down 5 yards deep, and he's bringing it. And maybe he shouldn't have. Nice coverage by Nebraska. Matthew May made the stop, and Kansas State will work inside its own 20.
I like Kansas State being aggressive in this game, but you can't hesitate. Banks hesitated on that kick return, and they're in a hole to start.
The numbers for Grant Gregory, who Aaron talked about. He's a good runner. The team overall excellent at running the ball, including Daniel Thomas, who will set up in the backfield with him. They fake the end around. They throw the ball across the 20. Broken tackle. I think he stepped out of bounds at the 21, Daniel Thomas.
And that's what I think is going to be very important for Kansas State tonight, is to have some success throwing the football primarily off of play action on early downs for a couple reasons. Nebraska is expecting run. That's what Kansas State's MO is. And Nebraska is excellent on third down defense. So trying to stay out of third down passing situations will be at a premium tonight for Kansas State.
At the 21-yard line, second down at 5. Thomas, direct snap in the Wildcats, and it really wears the name well when that's your nickname. Third and a yard. Opening possession for Kansas State. And stood up right about at the first down marker. Philip Dillard with a tackle on Thomas with help from his friends, but I think he got a pretty good spot.
Well, he's a big physical guy, 227 pounds, and he's still learning to be a running back.
Right.
You know, I mean, he was a quarterback in high school. He was a quarterback in junior college. He's still learning how to run with lower pad level, but he is a phenomenal athlete who is just going to continue to get better and better the more he plays.
Can you imagine the nightmare he must have been in junior college as a quarterback, just taking the direct snap as he's already taken once tonight. Gregory crossing pattern wide open. Is Banks on the move, and he is thrown down. I think it's going to be a horse collar tackle maybe at the 39-yard line. We'll see if that's the call. At any rate, it's a first down.
And a second first down pass for Kansas State. Again, breaking some tendency and loosening up this Nebraska defense.
Greg Burns, our referee.
Before the defense, horse collar, first down.
A lot of open spaces in here for Banks as he comes across the field. A lot of green in the middle. And there's the horse collar tackle at the end of the play. Larry Asante with the penalty, and now great field position and another first down for the Wildcats.
In Nebraska territory already for the first time, and just a little over a minute and a half into the game at the Nebraska 46. And now Gregory under center. Moves his tight end. And it's a counter play to Thomas. Broke through the first wave and got a nice gain down to the 40-yard line.
Well, already this is a great start for Kansas State. In their 2 other road games in the Big 12, I mean, they got off to such poor starts. They gave up 66 points in Lubbock to Texas Tech, 42 points to Oklahoma, and they got behind so quickly in both of those games. So right now they are controlling the action, controlling the tempo, and getting their feet settled on the ground nicely against Nebraska.
Braden Wilson checks into the backfield at the fullback spot in front of Thomas. 2nd and 4. Thomas will follow his fullback and then cut it outside to pick up the first down at the 30-yard line. Anthony West knocked him out of bounds. You talk about a picture-perfect opener here.
Well, Bo Pelini was very praised. He had a lot of praise for Bill Snyder and for the job that they had done with this football team. He thought offensively that they were really well schooled in the offensive line. Charlie Dickey is the offensive line coach. He was the coach at Utah the last 3 years. Of course, Utah coming off an undefeated season a year ago. So they're having an excellent drive here to start the ball game.
They just gave him an I backfield with a fullback. Now they got 4 wideouts in there in the spread. And this time Nebraska, after only about a 2-yard gain, brings down Thomas. And Ndamukong Suh and company on that front wall. Big number 93. They list him at 300 pounds. We talked with him yesterday, and we asked him how much you weigh right now. He said 291 on Thursday.
Well, and you can see his quickness. I mean, he uses his hands so well, and it's hard to run to the perimeter on his side because he plays the outside so well, and he's almost impossible to hook block. So I would expect Kansas State to run away from him more than they run to his side when they run the football wide.
2nd down and 8 at the Nebraska 28. Empty backfield. Quarterback draw all the way. And this time it's Jared Crick, his teammate, who actually leads the club. And as Todd said a few minutes ago when he opened up the game, unbelievable that 2 guys at tackle would be your leading tacklers.
Well, they get Suh out of the way, but Crick is unblocked, and he makes the play. And again, Suh attracts so much attention and so many double teams that it's really opened things up for Jared Crick, who has become an outstanding player in his own right.
Kansas State has not been great on 3rd down conversions this year. As you mentioned a little while ago, Nebraska's defense has done a great job in that area. 3rd down and 6. Blitz coming, and whistles to the flag. Kenneth Mayfield, I think the right guard, might have been involved in the false start.
False start, number 67 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
One of the reasons that Nebraska has been so good on 3rd down is because they can rush with 4. You know, and that allows them to play a lot of combination coverages because they have confidence that their front 4 can get pressure on the quarterback. And then they also give a lot of different looks to confuse quarterbacks and offensive linemen. They're very complex on 3rd down.
That's Carl Pelini, as you saw his defense up on top of your screen. Their starting lineup. Kansas State has finally made it hard on themselves on 3rd down. 3rd and 11. Gregory's going to take off. And he got cut down at the 26-yard line, well short of the 1st down. They had to get it all the way down to the 20-yard line. So they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt after a nice opening drive.
Yep.
Josh Cherry had all kinds of trouble earlier in the year. He missed 5 of his first 6 field goals, but he has settled in Big 12 play and has gone on to go 11 out of 12 in conference action. He'll try a 44-yard field goal. No trouble with that one. Perfect. So Josh Cherry, who's a Nebraska native, gets Kansas State off to a good start. Good looking opening drive. 3-0 Wildcats. Well, they got the quarterback and the defensive tackle covered there with those costumes. Kansas State 3-0. Capped a 10-play drive with a 44-yard field goal by that man, Josh Cherry. 5:34 opening drive, and Todd, that's what they like to do. They average over 34 minutes a game holding onto the ball.
Yeah, that's the way that they have won their football games. Run the football, control the clock, limit the other team's possessions and opportunities.
Niles Paul and Tim Marlowe will wait on Josh Cherry's kickoff. This will be returnable from about the 3 for Marlowe. Tripped up as he got to about the 28-yard line. A lot of that's because he's a great player. A lot of it's because Suh plays next to him. This is Zach Lee at quarterback. And straight up the middle to Hellu. And he got to the 31-yard line. John Hewlick made the stop.
We talked about the Kansas State's commitment to the run. This Nebraska team over the last few weeks has really changed their whole offensive philosophy. They've gone to more 2 tight ends. They've got a bigger lineup in the game and a more power running play action pass. They started the season as more of a spread offense, and they've kind of gone a different direction and given the ball to Hellu.
They fake it to him, and Lee comes up throwing on the bootleg and's got it complete to Mike McNeil. And that's a first down, Nebraska. McNeil, the big tight end, that's his 22nd catch of the year. It's kind of strange that you kind of have to evolve your offense during the course of a season.
Yeah, well, it was a combination of things. Some injuries in the offensive line, some injuries to Helu, and then the quarterback play a little inconsistent, and they realized, you know what? We've got young receivers. This just isn't working for us. We've got to do some different things. And even Tom Osborne had some input with offensive coordinator Sean Watson about the option and some option passes, and they've changed.
They got a first down here. Helu, nice cutback. And a good gain. 4 yards at least out to the 44-yard line. Joshua Moore off the corner made the stop defensively. There's Tom. He knows about Big 12 titles, national championships, 3 in fact. And now the athletic director.
He was out there at practice with us on Thursday, sitting up there in the stands, had his hood up and all bundled up.
Cap on. He looked as cold as we did.
Yeah. I think he's a little more used to it than we are.
You're right about that. Second down and 6. Here is some option. Lee, no pitch though. He'll hold on to it. Pomaly, the middle linebacker, made the hit. Zach's still learning the nuances of being the quarterback in a lot of different ways. The leadership part, I think that's kind of built in. But managing the game is the big thing that everybody talks about, and he's improved in that area. Football's in the family. There's his daddy, Bob. His mom, Janice. Bob played 12 years in the NFL with the Falcons, the Vikings, and the Rams. Looking on as his son's got a 3rd and 9. Quick drop and a nice throw and a first down. Brandon Kinney. Lee hung in there, had some pressure coming, and he connected.
It was a nice job by Lee finding the open man, and then a really nice job by Kinney knowing that he didn't have the first down after the catch. And watch, as soon as he catches this ball, he tucks it and heads right for that first down marker, splits the defenders, and gets the first down for Nebraska.
Rex Burkhead checks in at I-back. He's been banged up this year and in there for the first time in several weeks. Lee again, the bootleg and the throw. Legane, his roommate and fullback, has got another Nebraska first down.
Nice job right now in their early possession. We saw Kansas State with a nice blend of run and pass in their first possession. Now Sean Watson doing a nice job of stretching this Kansas State defense. Running at them and then going play action and some misdirection on the play fakes.
Marcel Jones, the right tackle for Nebraska, was shaken up. He's out of there right now. Here's Helu taking it inside the 35 to the 34. So a quick moving first quarter with both teams grinding it out on the ground. 6 minutes remaining in the first. 3-0 on a Josh Cherry 44-yard field goal for Kansas State so far.
I want to go back to that idea of them changing their philosophy offensively. You know, the thing that's admirable to me about that is that a lot of times with coaches, you've got egos, you know, and they believe in a system and they don't want to give up on their system. These guys just said, look, what's the best way for us to win games? We've got a great defense. What can we do on offense to best suit our team?
McNeil, the tight end, in motion. Nice play fake. Lee is going to keep this one. Get what he can, and he dives forward to about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, I don't get that play because the receivers were blocking downfield. There were no receivers that were going out on the pass route. I don't know if that was a designed quarterback run by Zach Lee or if he missed a handoff. No, that's a play fake all the way. I guess he did have the tight end Mike McNeil, but the other receivers were already down there blocking.
Yeah. Niles Paul actually got a pretty good block. I think if McNeil could have got to the corner and gotten a little bit of a chip block, it might have picked up the first down for number 5. As it is, it's 3rd down and 3. They've already picked up a 3rd down on this drive. This time they'll try to get it on the ground. I don't know. Right at the marker. Might be just a little bit short. Maybe close enough to look at, actually.
Close enough to look at and close enough for Bo Pelini to consider whether he wants to go for it on 4th down if it's short.
Right. They're going to bring the chains out to have a look.
Alex Henry with the long this year, the field goal kicker of 46 yards.
Marker's like right here.
Going to be awfully close, and it is good enough by that much. I think it was the second or maybe third effort by Helu just to lean forward, because he was hit about a yard behind that yellow line.
Yeah.
And right there.
Yep. This guy's played banged up all year. He's had a bad shoulder. He's missed some action, but he's battled through it, and when they've needed him, he's been there. 138 yards against Oklahoma, 156 last week against Kansas.
Now the option. Lee's not going to pitch it to the tail man, Helu. So he's going to lose a couple yards on the play. 4:38 remaining first quarter. We might have a timeout here, I think.
Little confusion where the receivers were supposed to be on which side of the formation. Smart thing, take a timeout and get it straight.
Well, these two teams know all about Big 12 titles. As they went to the format of having a championship, they won the first 5. Second down and 12. Helu to the 23. Jeff Fitzgerald made the stop defensively for Kansas State. Here's what we were talking about. North Division winners. They filled it up through the year 2000. Kansas State won the overall championship in 2003. Of course, Nebraska's won national championships and all kinds of conference titles. As you look around, Memorial Stadium sold out for the 304th straight time. 3rd and 6 for Zach Lee. On the run. That's the 3rd time he's thrown on the run and delivered a first down strike. This one's to Kyrie Cooper.
Well, and he got a great block by Roy Helu Jr. I mean, that's what got Lee the good throwing lane and the patience to make the play. Watch Helu. We know he can run. We know he's a tough guy. Watch number 10 get out in front of this play and give his quarterback some time. Right there. Nice solid block. And that secures the corner for Zach Lee to make the accurate throw.
First, it was a 5.5-minute drive for Kansas State to get a field goal. Now it's the 13th play of the Nebraska drive. Straight up the gut again and down to about the 13-yard line. Here it's Helu who's going to be dropped for a loss this time. Hulick, the outside linebacker, the senior out of Wichita, with a nice play.
Yeah, really timed that up beautifully on the blitz. Come right across the center's face, and nobody kind of surprised the offensive line of Nebraska. Got into the backfield and made the stop.
Mentioned John out of Wichita. His grandpa, Anton's in the Wichita State Hall of Fame. Was a great running back. Third down conversions, 3 for 3 so far. It's been Zach Lee doing whatever he needed to do. He's got 3rd and 11 here. He's going to go to the end zone. Just overshot McNeil. It would have been a touchdown.
Boy, he had him too. Daniel Calvin got some pressure on Zach Lee, but McNeil had beat his man to the corner. Watch him run the post corner route. He turns the safety around and he is wide open. And Zach Lee, under a little bit of pressure, can't make the accurate throw.
Boy, was that a nice route. It'll be Alex Henry trying a 34-yard field goal to tie the game, and he has. Henry with his 16th field goal this year, the 42nd of his career. So both teams, time-consuming drives, both had to settle for 3. We're even in Lincoln. .3 quarter's almost over. 7-minute 42-second drive by Nebraska in 16 plays, but they had to settle for a field goal because they missed their tight end in the corner of the end zone on what would have been a touchdown to give them the lead. Banks, and he hesitated again. Todd is going to bring it out again. Going to be the same result, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Right now, it's time to take a look at tonight's Good Hands Flashback, brought to you by Allstate, 1971.
Wiley's kick gets high. It holds up there. Rogers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home.
En route to a Heisman Trophy for Johnny Rogers. 72 yards for the touchdown. In the Ring of Honor here, as you might expect, with all the other greats that have played for the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Direct snap to Thomas, and Daniel Thomas out to the 21-yard line. Dillard, the outside linebacker, is there on the stop.
That's Daniel Thomas in the Wildcat formation, and really Bill Snyder is one of the first guys that ever did any of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I mean, he was kind of, what's that? He was country before country was cool. He was the Wildcat before the Wildcat was the fad of modern college football.
And now a lot of teams call it the Wildcat, but it really fits for Kansas State being the Wildcats. Second down at 4. Thomas again, got an opening. Still on his feet across the 35 to the 36-yard line. His best run of the night. Amukamara, the corner on that side, finally brought him down, but he got 16 yards.
Got a great block by the right guard. Kenneth Mayfield did a super job of pulling, getting around there, knocking his man out of the picture, and Thomas got to the edge.
He's had 500-yard games this year. Todd mentioned some of the big ones that he had, including 185 against Kansas. First down, blitz off the corner. It might pay off. Gregory just got rid of it. Now, did he get the ball back to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, you've got to do two things to throw the ball away if there's nobody in the area, and that's the call right there. I think he was outside of the tackle box, but the ball did not make it to the line of scrimmage. Eric Hagg was coming on a pressure. A blitz off the corner, very tough for a bootleg.
You could see Hagg sneaking up in there, and then he ran right toward the quarterback. Watch him come, number 28. Then he changed direction.
Yeah. Gregory did a smart thing, trying to get his eyes around quickly. He knew there was pressure, but he couldn't get out to the corner to get enough on this football.
It was at least a yard shy of the line of scrimmage. Loss it down. Second down and 24. Crowd getting into it for the black shirts defense. Here's a counter to Thomas. They've got him bottled up again. Matt O'Hanlon from his safety spot made the tackle. Well, this is what Kansas State didn't want to get themselves into. Third down and over 20. We'll see what they do with it to start the second quarter when we return to Lincoln in a moment. A brisk first quarter. The leading rusher in the Big 12, Daniel Thomas, 47 yards on 8 carries. Zach Lee almost perfect, but boy, would he like to have that one miss back. Both long drives led to field goals. 3-3. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Aaron Andrews as we start the second quarter in Lincoln. K-State with a third and a mile at their own 25. Gregory, pressure coming. Down the middle, overshot Banks, who might have gotten a first down because he had some open space in front of him.
Yeah, the coverage was really playing the deeper routes, and Banks on that same crossing route, if he catches that with a full head of steam, he runs for the first down. Watch that coverage drop deep, and as Gregory steps up in the pocket, if he gets that ball down, Banks gets the first down.
And now Ryan Dorr will punt, and Niles Paul back deep, averaging a little over 9 yards per punt return. But this one way up in the air, end over end, fair catch, called for and taken at about the 43-yard line. Well, one of the balloons they let go at the end of the first quarter just came in and hit me in the head. I'm going to send it back out in a second. Zach Lee, quarterback keeper, running a little bit more in recent weeks. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, when Nebraska's offense came off the field the first time, their coordinator Sean Watson told them, great first time out there on the field. We just need to fix up a few things, but continue to finish drives, maximize their opportunities. And he looked at them and said, hey, their defense isn't overwhelming, isn't it? Brad, one more thing, offensive lineman Marcel Jones still over on the sideline dealing with a right ankle injury.
All right, he thanks DJ Jones, who's playing in his spot at that right tackle position. 2 tight end set for Nebraska here. One of them, McNeil, in motion. Pump fake, and the throw is complete to the other tight end, Drew Young.
Well, we mentioned when they changed offensive philosophies. Part of it was young receivers, injuries on the offensive line. Another part was tight end was a position of strength.
Yeah.
They had depth at tight end, and they had talent at tight end. And so they use a lot of 3 tight end sets as well as your normal and basic 2 tight end sets.
Young had just made that catch. McNeil goes to the sideline. We'll see Ben Cotton in that position as well. Now on first down, they go back to the ground. Hello. About 5 for Roy before Daniel Calvin made the stop.
This Kansas State defense is much improved this year, but you got to remember, last year Nebraska beat them 56-28, and they ran for 340 yards. I mean, they wore them down, and they're kind of taking the same approach against this Kansas State defense tonight.
They were 117th in the country in total defense last year, so a dramatic improvement, obviously.
The biggest improvement has been in their run defense, but they're getting challenged here tonight.
Play fake, 2nd and 5, again on the roll, and Lee's going to try to head to the sticks.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Boy.
Yeah. That's a penalty.
Hulick with a lick, and that'll be 15 yards. And Mom's not wanting to look, but he snapped right back up, Mom. He's all right.
Well, they did a nice job of defending the play. Prezell Brown is going to do a nice job of forcing Zach Lee to run out of bounds. He's going to chase him, and Lee's going to run out of bounds, and then clearly the late hit by Hulick. And you don't want to help Nebraska at this point.
Wow.
You know, we've seen Lee run the ball a lot tonight, and Cody Green, their freshman quarterback, who actually started 2 games when they made a change, is the better runner of the 2. Zach Lee is not known for his running as much as his throwing, but running with the quarterback keeps that defense honest, and it gives them something else to account for.
Now the eye backfield. Legate the fullback in there to lead the way. They're going to run option. He's going to run it again. Well, he took a look at it and popped right back up and then went 4 more yards to the 16.
Well, what's getting set up here for Nebraska is a play-action pass off the option. They haven't shown it yet. It's something that they've worked on. In fact, that's one of the things that Tom Osborne put a little video reel together for Sean Watson. Passes off the option. They worked on them in practice Thursday, and they are set up for one here very soon.
Little shade of Tommy Frazier. 2nd down and 6. And this time, Kansas State played it beautifully. Raphael Guidry flattened Hellu in the backfield. It'll be a loss on the play. Nebraska in the red zone, that's been a problem for them, at least in scoring touchdowns. 20 touchdowns in 38 trips. Sean Watson's going to see if he can dial something up here on 3rd down and 7.
Watch the tight end. He's uncovered right now.
Lee,
there he is.
Fake to the end zone. Touchdown. He didn't miss him that time.
Nope. Beautiful route again by McNeil. Sells the out fake, goes up, and he fooled both the linebacker and the safety. Alex Henry for the point after.
7-play drive, 57 yards, capped by a beautiful route by the tight end and a perfect throw by the quarterback. Touchdown lead for Nebraska. It's got a nice taste to it. Kind of like Todd's Taste of the Town. That's coming up too.
When I think of the Midwestern food, I think of meat and potatoes. And in Lincoln, Nebraska, nobody does that better than Misty's. The place was originally opened in 1963 as a bottle club by Bob and Grace Milton. A few years later, it became a restaurant and soon developed a reputation for serving some of the Midwest's finest prime rib. Bob Milton passed away in 1998, but executive chef Reese Hummel has maintained the Misty's tradition. Now, the prime rib is rolled in spices 3 days before it's cooked. Then the day it's served, it's placed in a 500-degree rotisserie for 45 minutes, then slow roasted for 3 hours right before they cut it. Top it with some mushrooms, serve with signature mashed potatoes, and you've got a meal fit for a king. Yes, sir.
So you're playing Misty for us on that one, huh?
Well, that was their favorite song.
Yeah.
And that's what they named the restaurant. But great place. and not only was the food great, the atmosphere was tremendous. Every Friday night before a home football game, there's a visit by the band, the cheerleaders, the mascot. High energy, high enthusiasm in the restaurant. It was really a fun evening and a great place to do Taste of the Town.
I asked you a question. I didn't go with you last night, and I don't know if it was a rhetorical question or a really stupid question, but I think that was the 16-ounce Regal cut. And
yeah.
I said, did you eat it all?
Oh,
okay.
Are you kidding?
It was a dumb question. All right.
Always clean my plate, Brad Nessler.
Yeah, I know you do. Your folks taught you well. Here's a kickoff. And it's a dandy. And this time there will be no decision on whether or not to return it. Kansas State from the 20. Jeremiah Masoli playing so well right now for Oregon. Here, the crowd fired up as Kansas State's got to work from its own 20-yard line to get it. Grant Gregory on the give to Thomas. Broke a tackle in the backfield and made something out of that. Got 3, almost 4. Larry Asante, the safety, finally holding on to bring it down.
And again, Bill Snyder, the coach at Kansas State, he's going to stick to his guns. He's not going to do what some coaches would do and say, oh, wait, we're behind, we got to scrap the run. He's going to stick to what he does, and that's run the football. But I still think those play-action passes on early downs will continue to be critical for this team.
This time, Gregory in the gun. And under the gun. Flag down. Going to negate a nice run by Gregory. It's going to be a holding call in the backfield.
Well, that's the problem with these two defensive tackles, trying to block them.
Holding number 59 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
The penalty's on Kendall, and it was Jared Crick that drew the penalty. These two guys are so active, and they're so strong and quick off the ball. And when you're a quarterback and the pocket collapses from inside, you've got a problem. I mean, if the rush comes from the outside and you can step up in the pocket and buy time, that's okay. But when the pressure comes inside from defensive tackles, that's a real burden for a quarterback.
Second down at 17 now, way back at the 14-yard line. Gregory, it's a run all the way. Spins his way, dropped by Compton. You know, we talked so much about Sue. We were kidding around with him about, you know, does Crick ever give you any credit that you get the double teams and he gets some of the stats?
His mentality is he wants to help me and take the double teams and do all the dirty work. And I was like, let me do that. You go and make plays. And when you start making plays, they're going to have to start respecting you, the respect that you deserve. And then they'll even us up and have to play both of us true.
I think they'll both all be all Big 12. Gregory on 3rd and 12. And nobody home over there. Anthony West was the closest player.
Again, when you've got 4 defensive linemen that can put pressure on the quarterback and you don't have to sell out and blitz and you can play coverage, it really gives you a lot of options on defense. And it starts with those 2 tackles. They're as good of a pair as I've seen all season anywhere in college football.
Door to punt. Niles Paul again is back deep for the Cornhuskers.
Kansas State needs a booming punt right here.
Yeah, they really do. Oh, they're lucky they got a punt away at all. They did get a nice kick. Flags down. They got more than that. They got a penalty on hitting the punter, and he's still down. Bill Snyder's way out halfway to the hash mark, and the referee is telling him to back up. Justin Blatchford is the guy that got the punter.
Running into the kicker. That penalty is declined. First down, Nebraska.
That was the key area, be it running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. The roughing the kicker would have given them first down, and that's why they declined the penalty, because they got a great boot way back to the 33-yard line as you see another look at the end of the play. A little more action from Misty's last night. I don't even know how Todd can eat with all that commotion going on. He finds a way. First down, Nebraska, its own 33. And Hellu brought down by Pomelli. Hellu closing in on a 1,000-yard season as well. Came in third in the conference in rushing. And 7 career 100-yard games, and he doesn't mind cold weather, or at least later in the season, because 5 of those 700-yard games have come in November. This, by the way, is only the 4th night game in November in the history of Memorial Stadium. Here's the toss to Hellu. He's got the blockers out in front. Can't get to the corner, though. Nice job defensively to run him out of bounds by Stephen Harrison. Tell you what, we've seen some good tight ends this year, but as a route runner, what he's done in this ball game, just missing on a touchdown in the end zone and then catching that one's been pretty special. Zach Lee throws, completes. That one's to Niles Paul.
Right now, you just kind of get the feeling with Kansas State, they're just kind of hanging on. You know, their offense has not been able to muster much. Their defense has been on the field a lot here in the second quarter, and they're just trying to hang on here in the final 8.5 minutes of the first half.
Remember, they had the opening drive that was over 5.5 minutes, ended with a field goal. Nebraska countered with a field goal by Henry, and then the touchdown pass that you just saw on the Verizon Wireless playbook. And this one's going backwards. Rex Burkhead's going to lose yardage for the Big 12 crown. Second down at 14 after that loss by Burkhead, who stays in there with Lee. Zach's going to go deep middle into some coverage as we check in with Aaron.
Brad sitting behind Kansas State's bench right now, just watching Ryan Dorr, the punter, and he is struggling. The right shin area is actually what the trainers are looking at. He was trying to warm up, see if he could even move around and work with the ball, and he just turned around and looked at the trainers and shook his head no. So they're looking at him again, but Ryan is in a lot of pain over here on Kansas State sideline.
DJ Fulhag would be the punter if he can't go. It was really the landing for Dorr more than the hit by the Nebraska player. Kind of twisted as he landed. At least that's the way it looked on the replay. 3rd and long. Lee with time. Throws it underneath. Burkhead going to take it out of bounds, but he's way short of the first down.
That's a nice defensive play by Kansas State. They rushed 3. They dropped 8 in coverage. They let them catch the ball in front. It was 3rd and long, and then make a sure tackle on the sideline in the field of play.
Speaking of punters, Alex Henry is the punter and the kicker for Nebraska. Dual duty. Look out for this guy if he gets his hands on it and gets a little bit of a crease. Banks, he'll have to let this one go.
Oh my goodness.
It goes out of bounds at about the 1-foot line. That's perfect. He came in He came in leading the Big 12 in punts inside the 20 with 20. But this is inside the 20-inch line right here.
He had a guy down there to down it, didn't even need him. I mean, had the perfect direction and the perfect English. Anthony Blue was there, and Anthony didn't even have to touch the football.
Tiger Woods couldn't do any better than that, I don't know. And now Kansas State's in a heap of trouble. Last time they started at their own 20 and they went the wrong direction. This time they set up in their own end zone. And the crowd's not going to be kind down there. Play action. Gregory from his own end zone. Throws deep. Incomplete. Wow. Boy, he almost got that out the banks.
Yep, had a shot at it.
That call took some guts. And it was very close to being complete. Anthony West was covering. Banks not the biggest guy in the world, but he can really motor. About 5'7" and maybe weighs a buck and a half. Second down from inside the 1 for the Wildcats. Trailing by a touchdown with 7:18 to go. First half. Two tight end set. You would assume now Thomas will try to run it out of there, but no, they're going to throw again. Can't get a holding call back there, and he just gets rid of this thing over to the Nebraska sideline. And Sue is coming, and you can hear the chants. And Dominican says, I love that chant, and he said, I'll miss it because I won't hear it again. This is his final game in this stadium.
Well, you see they're trying to get a chip block on him with the back, Thomas, but he just doesn't stop moving and fighting and working and still gets a hit on the quarterback. And not only is he a great player, but we had the pleasure of talking with him yesterday, and he's as good as it gets when it comes to representing a school and being a student athlete.
That was his mom, Bernadette, in the stands, watching her baby boy. Gregory again. He's going to keep slinging it, but it just keeps going to the Nebraska sideline. And now the punter, and who will it be punting, has no room to work with. It's going to be DJ Fulhag, as Aaron reported. Dorr is not going to be able to go. So here's a guy that you don't see a lot of backup punters. He has come in some pooch punt situations this year. So it's not like it's going to be the first time he's taken a snap, but he doesn't have much room back there.
Well, and that's right. I mean, it's a shorter snap, so he's got to be thinking catch and kick. Get it out of there, and don't step back onto that end line either.
The snap's got to be perfect, too. Don't make him jump for it. Fulhag. Snap's perfect. Kick is high and really short. And Paul, fair catches at the 35-yard line.
See, I think Fulhag, I think he's the guy they use for pooch punts. That's his specialty, right?
Yep. So, field possession battle and the kicking battle definitely to the advantage of Nebraska right now. They start at the 35-yard line. Time for tonight's trivia question. A 304th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium. I mentioned that earlier. Who was the president of the United States when that streak started? We'll tell you in a few minutes.
Well, this might be a time where Nebraska tries to go deep right away to Niles Paul.
There's the play fake. Lee's going to throw it short. It is Niles Paul, but on a crossing route. And he got inside the 30 to about 29-yard line. Mentioned Paul averages 19.6 a catch. Obviously not on that play.
We had a huge game last week against Kansas. 4 catches for a career high, 154 yards of reception.
All his receptions last week were at least 35 yards. Yeah. You don't get that very often.
Had a couple kick returns for some good yardage as well.
Extra tight ends are in on second down and 3. Hello should have the first down or very close to it. Might be just a little bit shy.
We mentioned the injuries with this Nebraska offensive line throughout the season, and particularly early. They're starting to get a little more healthy. That's the good news for Nebraska as they head down the stretch here. They're starting to get a little bit healthier with Mike Smith, their left tackle, Keith Williams, their left guard, Jacob Hickman, their center. All those guys have been banged up. Of course, they lost Marcel Jones earlier in the ball game, and DJ Jones, his backup, is in at right tackle. But injuries up front have been a problem.
Third down, less than 1. Lee puts his head down and has the first down. So Zach Lee, who had a career-high 53 yards rushing in the win last week over Kansas, has run it several times again tonight. That one just a short yardage to move the sticks.
Well, I think what happened with Zach Lee when he got benched earlier, he took the right attitude and the right approach to that. He stayed humble. He supported Cody Green when he was in at quarterback, and when he came back in the game against Oklahoma, the team really responded to his leadership. He was a calming influence. He had learned and grown, and right now he's playing at a lot better level than he was a few weeks ago.
His backup's got a big smile to meet him over there with a timeout, Kansas State. First down at the 25. 5-minute time of possession advantage in Nebraska's favor. And that's usually Kansas State, what they rely on is keeping a hold of the ball. Nebraska giving them a taste of their own medicine right now. And Hellu maybe got a yard out of that to the 24. Eric Childs knocked him down on the sideline. So second down and 9. We're in the final 5:20 of the first half. Nebraska by a touchdown on Zach Lee's 12th scoring toss of the year. And the 4th caught by his tight end Mike McNeil.
Seen a lot of Burkhead here early in this ball game, and that's good news for Nebraska. He's been out since October 12th with that broken bone in his foot. They weren't sure how much he'd be able to go tonight. Just started practicing midweek.
Lee loads down the middle. Nice play defensively. Whoop, maybe it wasn't a nice play. Yeah. Joshua Moore. I thought he got the left arm around.
It was a nice play with the left arm, but I don't think it was a nice play with the right arm, because the right arm was draped and the left arm made a play. Watch. Here it goes in. Right arm hold, left arm knocked the ball away.
Yeah, good call.
Pass interference, number 4 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, he was in excellent position. I mean, he made a great play on the ball. I just think sometimes those guys instinctively reach with that other hand and got nailed for it.
So it's a first down at the 10-yard line. First and goal.
Again, we've seen enough option out of Zach Lee tonight in this Nebraska offense to set up that play-action pass off of it.
Burkhead broke one tackle, got to the 5.
Burkhead is, again, looks good. I mean, he looks good coming in. He's a youngster out of Plano, Texas, and a nice combination with Roy Hello.
200-pounder, 5'11". He'll stay in there as the eye back. 3 tight ends set. Second and goal, Nebraska. Just outside the Kansas State 5, and whistles. And a timeout was taken by Kansas State, or was it?
Timeout. Kansas State. Their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
So it was a timeout. Well, a little bit earlier, we asked you tonight's trivia question, which was the 304th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium. Who was the president of the U.S. when the streak started? Well, if you knew the year, it's an automatic. It went all the way back to President Kennedy in 1962. And that's when Bob Devaney and this Nebraska team started not just winning a few games, but winning a ton of games and winning championships, national championships. He, of course, won one. Tom Osborne came in, won 3, retired. Now he's back. Yeah. And his football team's getting back, too.
They are. You know, I think Bo Pelini is doing a nice job. I mean, obviously, the defense has been the backbone of the team. The offense is looking more like the old-time Nebraska teams, running it and play action. And you know, they're getting good at the right time. I mean, this is a team that's getting better as the season goes on. They're getting healthier, and they're getting some of their guys back. And I think Bo's going to do a nice job here. This is one of the great places for college football, and it's good to see them making their way back.
Second and goal at the 5. There's the play action. Lee rolling. He's got.
Great play by Fitzgerald.
We talked about Fitzgerald being an impact player. Well, there's a huge sack.
Great explosion to the quarterback. You know, he got dinged up a little bit the last series, was limping a little bit, but watch him come off the edge and explode. Here he is right here. He's just going to get up the field and chase the quarterback down. Gets off the block, and watch the explosion right at the end. Zach Lee thought he was going to get around him and get to the corner, and Fitzgerald just exploded and got the big sack.
That's his 7th sack. He leads the club in that capacity. And it came at a great time. It's still 3rd down. Nebraska's got a shot, but now it's 3rd and goal way back at the 19-yard line. Lee, plenty of time. Goes to the end zone. It's intercepted. Picked off, and coming out is Tyson Hartman. Hartman
got some room.
at the 20. All the way out to the 44-yard line. Hartman with a huge play in the end zone, his 5th interception of the year.
And remember when we talked about Kansas State, it just kind of seemed like they were hanging on. Credit their coaches. They called a couple timeouts to rest their defense, to make sure they were on the same page, to get everything straight. Here he is right here. This was a backup quarterback that last year moved to the secondary, and he's going to read the eyes of Zach Lee and step right in front of the pass intended for his receiver.
Can't play it any better than that. And then the big return as well. So they're all the way out of the 42-yard line.
They called some timeouts. They let their defense rest. They knew they had to hang on and make a play, and they got a huge play from their defense.
Another timeout with 3:10 remaining. Nebraska's 7-point lead and a little bit of danger now after the turnover. Starting field position has not been in the Wildcats' favor to this point. But now they have excellent field position. They just don't have any timeouts remaining. From their own 42 after the Hartman interception. Gregory, nice throw on the run. Is Snipes, and he's all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Well, they've had something with this play. Now, that's the 2nd time they've hit it. They missed Banks on a 3rd down and long, a little crossing route. He's going to come underneath the shallow cross. Nebraska more concerned with the deeper route on this play. And Gregory does a nice job of finding Snipes underneath.
Led him perfectly. He got to the 34-yard line. Pick up the 24. And now Gregory has it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Defensively, Pierre Allen. They weren't even sure if Pierre was going to be able to play tonight. And he comes up with the deflection.
Well, if nothing else for Kansas State, I mean, they stopped the scoring drive, and with the return from Hartman, they flipped field position. We showed you that graphic of the starting position. At least they flipped the field on Nebraska.
2nd and 10. Gregory, look out from the backside. He got away from one. Flags are down. And it'll be a holding call more than likely. Shoved out of bounds at the end of the play by Eric Hagg. Greg Burks is our referee.
Holding, number 64 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Nick Stringer, the left tackle, one of the captains, senior out of Topeka.
Well, there he is working on Cameron Meredith. Number 34 was coming on the outside rush, the speed rush. And
Kansas State doesn't want to waste this opportunity.
Nope. A costly penalty. Look at that, 6 for 54 yards already.
4 wideouts for Gregory. Would have been a tough throw to get it to Banks. The coverage from Haig again. Battle for the Big 12 North right here. 3rd and 20. Here comes a blitz. Gregory hung in and threw it, and it's intercepted at the 15-yard line. Larry Asante.
Nebraska brought pressure. Philip Dillard, the linebacker, was the guy who was putting the heat on the quarterback. This interception is not terrible for Kansas State. It was 3rd and long. And it's more like a punt because he throws it deep down the field. And there's no return. After the catch, it's a hit. I mean, it's Nebraska ball on the 15-yard line. Again, they flipped the field position. That's the good news for Kansas State after the last possession.
Bad news is Grant Gregory would have preferred a punt instead of taking the whack that he took after he threw that ball. Hello, broke away. Now he's got a blocker out there and his quarterback.
Yeah.
I love that you guys don't mind sticking your nose in there once in a while.
It was a critical block. I mean, he was following the play, didn't take the play off after the handoff. He sold his fake, and on the back side of it, he's going to get a block that enables Helu to get about 6-7 more yards.
At the 34-yard line now, first down. Nebraska, remember, 2 timeouts remaining. They got plenty of time to try to work it down the field again. And that puts Roy over the 1,000-yard mark, 29th in school history. They've had a lot of great ones playing that I-back spot. Here he comes again out to the 40-yard line. Getting their ground game tuned up on this drive after the interception by Asante. Can they turn it into points? There was one of the best. Another Heisman winner, Mike Rozier. Second down, long 3. Lee's got all day to throw. Oops. Helu dropped that one. He's got 19 catches on the year out of the backfield. That should have been an easy one. And it would have been an easy first down as well. Now it's 3rd and 4.
Good idea by Zach Lee going to his check down. You talked about managing the game and making decisions. One of the things that he had to learn coming from junior college is you just can't take shots down the field all the time. Sometimes you got to check it down with a throw. Sometimes you check it down by scrambling with your legs. That was a good decision that didn't pay off for him right there.
Extra pressure coming. Lee throws on the run, knocked down. That time, defensive play by Harrison. And Nebraska's going to have to punt it.
Yep. Well, Kansas State has hung in there. Again, the 2 road games that they've played in the Big 12, they got blown out. And I mean, now they cut the gap against Oklahoma, but they got behind so quickly against both Texas Tech and Oklahoma. They're not out of this one by any stretch.
Henry to punt. Brandon Banks back deep. This one's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. We saw Bo Pelini giving Zach Lee the business on the sideline. Winner goes on to Arlington December 5th for the Big 12 championship. Gregory lofts one to Thomas. Nice stop and break back and almost got away from the would-be tacklers. Out to about the 29-yard line. Down to the final 45 seconds, though, of the half. And remember, Kansas State can't stop it again except by a first down.
But again, if you're Bill Snyder and the Kansas State Wildcats, you've not played well on the road in the league. You go into the locker room down 10-3. You let your defense rest up because they're going to be on the field first to start the 3rd quarter, but you're right in the ball game.
Remember, 10-3 doesn't sound so bad because Nebraska thought they were going to be up 17-3 at the break. Thomas cut back. And another nice move into Nebraska territory. And
now you want to spike the ball.
Yeah.
Because you're in this position, you can throw to the end zone. So you have no timeouts. So Gregory has to spike the ball, and then they can huddle up and call something.
There's the spike, 9 seconds. You can almost run a quick out and get 2 plays out of this deal. Josh Terry's longest field goal this year is 47 yards. As you see Carl Pelini, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, on the sideline. And Gregory's going, come on, get me a play in here. I'm out of timeouts. We got to hustle. They're at the 46-yard line with 9 ticks left. And still, he's looking for a play call, and the clock is winding down. Got the snap. Gregory in trouble. He's going to take off, head to the sideline, and get out of bounds just in time. Well, this gives them either a long field goal attempt or they can take a crack to the end zone, and they're going to bring out the field goal unit.
Well, you mentioned Cherry is a Nebraska kid from McCook, Nebraska. Grew up a rabid Husker fan. Had his room all decorated in red. Wanted to play for the Huskers. Chance to put 3 points on his home state team right here.
He's at 12 of his last 13. This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt, which would be huge. Snaps a little high. The kick on the way. He comes up just a little bit short.
Had it right on line. Just not quite enough.
Well, nonetheless, Kansas State's prevented any further damage done by Nebraska offensively. And they head to the locker room trailing only by a touchdown. Here's another look. Josh giving it a ride. As Todd said, his hometown's about 4 hours up the road. And, oh, man, another 4 feet. And he would have had that field goal. Let's check in with Aaron.
Well, Coach, you and Carl looked very upset with your defense. You had said yesterday you knew it wasn't going to be easy, but what was wrong with your defense right there that you were so upset about?
Oh, it's just ridiculous. We had a couple guys drop coverage, and they're just not communicating. They relaxed there. It was the end of the half. They thought they were going to run out the clock, and they lost their focus. And that's inexcusable.
When Zach Lee came off the field, you also gave him an earful. What'd you say to him?
Well, we had points. We had a chance to run for a first down. We left a number of points out there on the field in the first half, and you can't do that in games like this. And we got to finish some drives. We got to play smarter. And we are down there on the 5-yard line, and we didn't manage it very well, and we got to get that fixed.
All right, Bo, thank you. Brad?
Well, you don't play safety at Ohio State as well as he did back in the day and not lose that fire. He's fired up. His team's in front, but only 10-3. Red in front as we're just about set to start the third quarter. Nebraska leading 10-3. Battle for the Big 12 North at a trip to the championship game December 5th. And it all lies in the next 2 quarters now. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge. This is about what we expected, I think. Grind it out, ball control type of situation. Yeah. Nebraska almost had a late touchdown, but Kansas State keeps hanging around.
Right, they hang around, and, you know, for Nebraska, they got to take care of the football. I mean, it's been very obvious. In their 7 wins, they're a +13 turnover ratio. In their 3 losses, they're -12, right. And the turnover hurt them tonight. You look at the numbers, fairly even, you know, and Kansas State on their side, Daniel Thomas has done his job. 74 yards rushing in the first half. Grant Gregory has to hit some passes, though. Only 4 of 12 throwing the football in that first half. They have to have a little bit of better balance to have a chance in this ball game.
Well, they're looking for a ride to Texas. The next 2 quarters will determine that. Winner wins the Big 12 North. Nebraska will have it first to start the third quarter. Tim Marlowe from the 2-yard line. And Marlowe out close to the 30. Emmanuel Lemure made the stop on the special teams. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, I spoke to Bill Snyder coming out of the half, and I said, Coach, what do you need to see out of your offense in the second half? He said, points. I said, all right, so how do you do that? Eliminate mistakes. He said there were way too many penalties. He felt they ran the ball with some success. Grant Gregory, just like Todd mentioned, needs to throw a little bit better, he said, but he said he's going to keep staying patient, but eliminate the mistakes. Brad, one final note, punter Ryan Dorr, he is out for the game.
All right, well, we thought that might be the case, so that could change things a little bit as far as field position for Kansas State. First snap of the third quarter is Roy Helu Jr. and picks up about 5. He went over the 1,000-yard mark in the first half. Both these backs, the main backs for each team, over 1,000 on the year. Coming in, Thomas was number 1 in the conference in rushing, and Roy was number 3. He got 6 on that carry. Second down and 4. They'll try him again. Same side. Short of the first down. Got a couple. Pomelee, the inside linebacker, made the stop. And we got a Kansas State man down. Tyson Hartman, who had the key interception late in the second quarter that prevented any further offense, is the guy that's down. Looked like he was holding his right knee. And a freshman backs him up at that safety position unless they move some people around in the secondary. Get another look. He's number 2, Tyson. Jumps over a pile. Oh, and then that's not the way you want to land, that's for sure. Sophomore out of Wichita. He's a good one. Todd mentioned earlier his former backup quarterback about after the 3rd game a year ago is when he switched to defense. I think he just twisted that knee a little bit. So that's going to be a long walk the Kansas State sideline. It's going to seem like 200 yards by the time he gets there. And there is Terrell Miller, the freshman out of New Orleans, that will take his spot. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and short for Nebraska. A long one, almost 2. Ryan Hill is going to check in as an extra blocker, playing the fullback spot. Third and short, Nebraska. This is the opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Play action. Zach Lee going deep. Got a man out there, and Paul, and he's got it.
I wasn't sure the ball was going to get there. They had what they wanted. 3rd and short. It was a good play action fake. Watch him hide the ball, sell the fake, and he has Paul, and he underthrows it slightly, and the receiver had to wait on it a little bit, but he was still able to make the grab. Niles Paul right now has to kind of slow down and wait on the ball, but it was still there before Emmanuel Lemure, the safety, could come over and make a play.
Bob Lee, Zach's dad, looking on as a 47-yard pickup turns into a touchdown. Just like that, Nebraska with 2 big plays, a 47-yard pass play to Niles Paul, and then Roy Helu takes it the remaining 14 yards for the touchdown.
Nice blocking by the right side of that Nebraska offensive line. Ricky Henry, the right guard. DJ Jones, who's played most of the game at right tackle for the injured Marcel Jones. Both those guys got out and did a nice job.
Alex Henry's point after is good. In the opening minute and a half of the 3rd quarter. First, it was a lightning strike from Lee to Paul for 47. Then Helu decided that he would get his 10th touchdown of the year to give Nebraska command of the game. Now the Wildcats now know that they're going to have to put some offense together and have a response to the Nebraska scoring drive that took only 4 plays, covering 70 yards. The 2 big ones. First, the pass to Niles Paul, and Helu with a 14-yard touchdown run to cap it in 1:39. And just like that, a snap of the fingers to start the 3rd quarter, and the Big Red is in good shape. Brandon Banks, no indecision this time from the 2-yard line. Looking for some blockers, though, to help him out. And Nebraska very aware of his receiving talents, and they bump him out of bounds at about the 20.
We'll go back to the long pass, because remember, Hartman went out with the injury. Now this is his replacement, Terrell Miller, a true freshman. Watch him kind of get turned around and fooled. He goes for the play fake. Now he gets twisted around. He stumbles a little bit, and Niles Paul runs right by him. And credit Sean Watson for going for the big play on 3rd and short with a new safety in the game, and a young one at that, and it led to a Nebraska touchdown.
There goes Hartman to the locker room. And there's his understudy being coached up a little bit after that big play by Nebraska. Keithan Valentine in the backfield for the first time tonight for Kansas State, and he's got the catch out of the backfield. Valentine out to the rather the 37-yard line. Good for a first down.
And that's what Grant Gregory has to do. He's got to throw effectively on first down. I mean, that's when Nebraska is a little more vulnerable in the passing game. If they can contain those inside rushers, they've got some openings against the Nebraska defense, and Gregory has to make it count.
They did that on their opening drive of the ball game that led to the field goal. Now Valentine on a counter, tracked down by Asante from behind. Boy, you talk about closing down the line of scrimmage with some speed. He just did.
Well, he was a free rusher off the outside. They brought the safety up on the line of scrimmage, and he did a nice job of tracking this play. It's not like a defensive end. This is a defensive back, and watch him chase this play from the backside and run him down.
Daniel Thomas back in the Kansas State backfield now. Second down and 9. Gregory, pressure coming. Got away from 2 or 3 Cornhuskers. And now cuts back in the middle and got a first down. Now there's the play of the game by the Kansas State quarterback.
You know, I think his leadership is what really kind of endeared him to this team. When the season started, he was not the starting quarterback. Carson Kaufman, the junior out of Peculiar, Missouri, was the starting quarterback. And for Grant Gregory, got there late. He got a 6-year of eligibility, transferred from South Florida, but he just kind of was patient and humble and earned his team's respect.
He earned the first down on that last one. Now they go back to Thomas, and Jared Crick puts the brakes on Thomas.
And Todd, Grant Gregory also earned Bill Snyder's respect, which has meant so much to him. He first signed with Indiana, didn't get an opportunity to play there. At USF, didn't get an opportunity to be the quarterback there. So, of course, he came here to Kansas State, and when Bill Snyder put the ball in his hands and said, go lead this team, many articles had said this guy got very choked up with the opportunity. He had been waiting for this.
Doing a nice job on this drive, that's for sure. Second down and 9. Both throwing and running. He's going to throw again, and this one's complete again. Wheeling is Banks. And a lot more than the first down. Down to the 30-yard line for Brandon Banks.
First and second down passing. This is a nice adjustment right now by Del Miller, the co-offensive coordinator and the passing coordinator for Kansas State. They're throwing on early downs. They were 1 of 6 on third down the first half. And I think they recognize if we're going to make hay with the passing game, it's got to be on first and second down.
They moved it to the Nebraska 31-yard line, trailing by a couple of touchdowns. Thomas spins, flags down. He's down to the 24-yard line.
This is going to be a hold, and it was a late flag. You know, the play had already bounced outside,
right,
and the flag was thrown into a pile of bodies. I'm not sure what the penalty is.
We're about to find out. Maybe.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm going to say this. I like Daniel Thomas. I mean, this guy's an impressive back.
Holding, number 94 of the defense. 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
It's on the defense. That's why it took us so long, and as Todd said, it was in an odd spot and kind of away from the play. Jared Crick with a defensive holding call.
I mean, I've seen defensive holding calls on pass plays and on alignment if it's a screen. I mean, here's Crick right here, 94.
Well, he basically took down Zach Kendall.
Wow, I've just not seen that defensive holding like that on a running play. Very interesting.
So first down. Wildcats, 5 minutes into the third quarter. They're threatening. Now the option, Thomas. Didn't have much real estate over there, but he got what he could before he's knocked out of bounds by Diller, the outside linebacker.
Again, Daniel Thomas was an all-state quarterback and linebacker in high school. He's from Hilliard, Florida. And then he went to Northwest Mississippi Community College and was a quarterback there, more of a running quarterback than a throwing quarterback. But he is a big physical guy that is learning how to play running back, and very, very impressive.
Second down and 9. Gregory all alone in that backfield. And he's going to keep it. Only got to the line of scrimmage, though.
Mr. Sue waiting for him.
Didn't take long for the fans who know their football here to start the Sue chants.
Well, they try to trap him or wham him with a fullback, and the fullback just bounces off of Sue. I mean, this is designed. He knew it was coming, so he lowered his shoulder. He got leverage on that wham block and still made the tackle. And that's good work on the inside.
3rd and 9. Here they come, creeping up to the line. They'll bring the pressure on Gregory. He's got his man. Touchdown. No, the ball is out. Fumble. Still loose. Nebraska's got it. Valentine was within 2 feet of the goal line, and the ball came out. Asante with a hit, and Mukamara has got the ball.
Boy, what a break for Nebraska. We saw Kansas State get a turnover defending their own area. This is a first down for sure and probably a touchdown. And Asante with the helmet right on the football. And K-State turned away. Nice call on 3rd down. They had what they wanted.
Wow. Couldn't have a better use of your helmet than what Asante just did. Put it right on the ball. And you can see Valentine was going to land in the end zone. So that ball popped out sideways and then squirted around out to about the 5-yard line, where the Cornhuskers will have the ball and a 2-touchdown lead when we come back. Now they got the ball back courtesy of Asante's forced fumble and the recovery at the 5-yard line. Got about 6 out near the 11. Aaron.
Kansas State's defense took the field. I was watching their secondary, and there was a lot of yelling and screaming at each other. Coordinator Vic Koenig was telling his guys in not so a quiet voice, we can't survive making the mistakes that you're doing out there. You need to get your act together. A lot of guys yelling at each other. It'll be interesting to see how they respond.
On 2nd and 4, trying to slow down Helu, and they do, short of the first down by a couple.
Well, one thing that they've done is they made one personnel change in this possession. Courtney Herndon, number 20, who is a senior. He's listed as a linebacker on our charts, but he's in now at free safety, or strong safety, in place of Terrell Miller. Remember, Tyson Hartman was injured, and Terrell Miller, the freshman, came in for him in the next play. He got beat for a long pass that set up a touchdown. Now they've gone to a senior in Courtney Herndon at that safety spot.
I think Terrell was one of the guys that was being spoken to not so quietly, as Aaron put it. Helu, nice job there.
Yeah, nice stop.
Going to force a punt.
Anticipated run. They ganged up on the line of scrimmage, and they got Helu before he got a head of steam going.
Speaking of not talking so softly, I love what Sandra Bullock said on game day today about the new movie that came out last night, The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Said all the coaches that were in it, said the one thing they noticed, the actual coaches, Coach Saban, Coach Holtz, and all those guys, they all talk so loud. And she's got to realize all of us in sports talk loud.
Yeah.
Henry, just got it out of there. Almost got the punt blocks. And now Banks scoops it on 3 hops. Going to try to get something out of it. Got back to the 45-yard line, so great field position now for Kansas State.
And it was really a good decision to take this, because if he lets it bounce, it goes about 10, 15 more yards. Now they almost got the block. Courtney Herndon, who's in at safety, right up the gut, almost got it. And it was a low kick, and Banks did a nice job of fielding it and getting what he could.
We're counting down to the Big 12 North crown and a trip to Arlington, Texas, December 5th. Still got a long ways to go. Nebraska leads by 2 touchdowns. Gregory, get rid of it. And he does. The Big 12 today, of course, Texas is still playing. A win for the Longhorns, and they win the South. Oklahoma State the other night held on to beat Colorado. Texas Tech throttled Oklahoma. Missouri over Iowa State. A&M put it on Baylor. And Texas at the half leading Kansas. Of course, the Longhorns win. They win the Big 12 South. And they'll stay in the state of Texas for the Big 12 championship game down at Cowboy Stadium. You'll see it December 5th on ABC. From the 45. End around and a pass coming. And it's caught by Thomas out of the backfield.
You know what's interesting is the play before they put Thomas out as a wide receiver thinking they'd get a matchup on a linebacker. But Nebraska played zone. So now this time they try to throw it to him again off the gadget play. And Klein.
He was a quarterback.
Yeah, and this time he's matched up against a safety instead of a corner. And they had a matchup that worked. And it was a nice throw for the first down.
It really was. Colin Klein playing wide receiver, but was a quarterback, and he put it right where he had to that time. And driving, keeping the legs going for 2 or 3 yards when it looked like there wasn't anything, was Thomas. Sue and Compton holding on, finally stopping. Well, Kansas State wasted their last opportunity. We got 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and then 15 minutes more to see who wins the Big 12 North. They can't blow too many more of these opportunities.
No, their margin for error is very, very small. I mean, it has been all season. But they're right here with an opportunity again.
Grant Gregory looks like they want to throw a screen, and now he comes back the other way. Motioning for his players. Throws on the run. Knocked away in the end zone. Actually had a man back there, but Eric Haig, who's made some nice plays today, made another one.
Well, I thought Gregory was going to take off and run. It looked like he had a little room. He's directing traffic, and Banks is working right to the sideline, and a nice play by Haig. Just cut right underneath the receiver and got his hands on the football.
And again, Banks is not the biggest target in the world. In fact, Haig's about 6 or 7 inches taller than number 83. 3rd and 7. That's Banks in motion. Gregory. High, incomplete, intended for Banks again.
Well, you mentioned Banks is not the biggest target, but that's a ball the quarterback has to get down. And pressure inside a little bit maybe got to him. Sue was putting some pressure on from inside, and the ball got up on the quarterback, Gregory.
Bill Snyder knows he needs something out of this drive and get something on the board here in the third quarter. Cherry hit from 44, missed that long one from 51. This is for 32 yards. Out. Another opportunity goes by the boards. The Big Red still leading by 2 touchdowns. There's a little Husker, corn-fed and proud. His team up 17-3. Zach Lee took another big shot as he picked up maybe 2 yards. Fitzgerald knocked him out of bounds.
I want to go back to the third down play. This is Ndamukong Suh right here, lined up over the right guard. We talk about how he can affect plays. Okay, now he's going to just get enough pressure on the quarterback to force action and force things happen. I mean, it doesn't show up on the stats. He doesn't get the sack. He doesn't get the pressure, but he affects the game.
Not only did he force the quarterback out, but then he ran into Crick and tried to have to throw over him. As Ndamukong's parents and sister looking on from the stands tonight on this senior night in Lincoln. Burkhead going to be third down and about 5. So in the last 2 possessions in the red zone, Kansas State came away with a fumble at the goal line and a missed makeable field goal. That could have made the difference. Could be 17-13 right now.
And I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with how this team has moved the football. I didn't think they'd move the ball on Nebraska's defense with the kind of success that they've had. Now, they don't have much to show for it. Only 3 points. And part of that is because Nebraska, coming into the game, the 3rd best defense in the country in terms of keeping people off the scoreboard. But they've done their job.
Lee lofts one. And is it caught? No, incomplete.
Well played.
That was just a jump ball out there.
Well played by Joshua Moore. Had a chance for the interception, and a nice defensive series. Watch Moore. Sizes it up, goes up, gets his hands on it.
They both had a shot at it. Neither came down with it. So Henry to punt.
They were very close on the last one.
Yeah,
right?
Brandon Banks took it on a couple hopper, as you said, to save him 10 or 15 more yards, and then he got back into Nebraska territory. See if he can do it again. Plus, they got close to blocking the last punch. Brandon will have a shot from the 35. Got a block. Got another. Banks. It'll be brought down at the 43-yard line. DeJon Gomes. Nice return.
I think the Kansas State sidelines was calling for another horse collar penalty. And part of the problem is, you know, Banks only weighs 150, so it doesn't take a whole lot to throw him down. But let's see the end of this. An excellent return. Makes the first guy miss, breaks a tackle, adds about 20 more yards, and yeah, they could have called that again.
They sure could have.
Absolutely.
Bill Snyder was looking for it. They didn't get it, but they do have it in Nebraska territory again. But again, can they cap a drive off? Gregory, a crossing pattern, completes about the 38 to Brandon Banks. Banks is a busy wide receiver and kick returner, that's for sure. And he needs a breather coming out. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, he's actually cramping up. When he came over to the bench the first time, they were just shoving Gatorades down his throat. They were trying to rub the cramps out of his legs. I think that's what's going on with him right now.
He has covered a lot of ground tonight. Adrian Hilburn comes in to take his spot at wide receiver. 2nd and 5 Wildcats. Gregory is knocked in the air and batted away. Might have been big. Baker Steinkuhler, who's going to be a good one, they say. His daddy, obviously one of the best to ever play here.
And there he is, number 55, working on the left guard. Kendall got his left hand up there and knocked the ball away.
6'6", 290, redshirt freshman. His dad, an All-American offensive lineman. 3rd down and 5. Blitz coming. Pass is caught. Just enough for the first down.
Boy, they've had a lot of near misses on this same thing. I mean, he feels the blitz. Grant Gregory does. He knows it's coming. He knows he has to get rid of it quick, and it's the same thing. The crossing routes have been there, whether it's man or zone. It's a little behind Banks, but Banks does a nice job of hanging on to it, securing the catch, and getting the first down.
Grant Gregory is going to have some bruises tomorrow from the passes he's completed. At the 32-yard line. Brandon Banks stays in there, cramps and all. He's been the #1 target. Nice play fake. But now I don't know if Gregory's got anywhere to go with it, except to the Nebraska sideline. Grant Gregory, who's kind of a sports nut.
Yeah.
He knows more about sports stadiums around the country, and some of his teammates say useless sports knowledge. He's been around it his whole life. His dad's a coach, brother's a coach.
Yeah.
As we said, Aaron talked about the opening of the show, transferred from South Florida, where he never even started. Here he is with an extra year of eligibility, trying to lead Kansas State to the Big 12 title game. Into the middle of the pile. That's not going to work. Good one going there in the big game. This is a big game for both these teams. Kansas State, they win, they go to the Big 12 championship in a bowl game. Lose, they go home for the rest of the year. 3rd and 10. Gregory flushed. Look out from behind. Ball is out. Nick Stringer, I think, came up with a football. And Phillip Dillard with a big hit on the Kansas State quarterback.
Well, he gets flushed out. Nebraska comes with pressure. Dillard comes free on the blitz. And Dillard stays with it. I mean, he never gave up on the play and got him from the backside.
He was going 100 miles an hour twice there. And that hurts. We saw Gregory kind of grabbing his right shoulder. Have to keep an eye on him on the sideline. Fulhag to punt. Remember Dorr, the starting punter, injured earlier in the game. Fulhag does a nice job laying this one way up there and forcing the fair catch at about the 11 or 12 yard line. And as we mentioned, Gregory really took a shot, and that is Carson Kaufman warming up on the sideline. Carson was a starter, as Todd said earlier in the season. Zach Lee on play action on first down and throws a strike. Denials Paul, and Nebraska's got a first down.
Brad, when Grant Gregory came over to the sidelines, of course, a bunch of Kansas State trainers followed his way, and he just said, I'm fine, get away from me. They asked him one more time, and he said he's fine. He hasn't really been shaking out that arm or that shoulder, so he looks to be okay.
All right. Keep Carson warming up anyway, just in case. At the 28-yard line, first down, Nebraska. Final half minute of the third quarter. Hellu cuts back, ran into his own man, and he's dropped for a loss. And that will just about do it for the third quarter. So it's 17-3. Nebraska on their home field, riding a 3-game winning streak. One more win, and they are going to Arlington, Texas to play for the Big 12 title. They know their season's going to continue either way, with a bowl game or a Big 12 title game and then a bowl game. And Bo Pelini knows as he holds up the four fingers. The fourth quarter lies ahead. Who's going to go to the Big 12 title game? Hang around, we'll find out together. We start the fourth quarter. I'm Brad Nessler with Todd Blackledge and Aaron Andrews. 17-3 Nebraska. They've got the ball and a 2-touchdown lead. Zach Lee shovel pass to McNeil. That didn't gain much. Back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Jeffrey Fitzgerald made another play. He's had a nice night. Transfer from Virginia. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. You know, he was a freshman All-American at Virginia in 2006 and transferred and has just had an outstanding season. You know, it's interesting. I mean, he is their leading sack guy. Lemieux, their safety, was their leading tackler, and of course Daniel Thomas, their leading rusher. All three of them just started playing for the Wildcats this season. And Grant, the quarterback as well.
Yep. Zach Lee, deep drop, throws the out and tucked it in there to Brandon Kinney.
Short, though.
Short of the first down. So it's another situation where Nebraska's got to give it up, but Kansas State hasn't been able to capitalize by scoring. You know, he needed to run that route just a hair deeper. Brandon Banks waits on Alex Henry's punt. You look from behind Alex. Came close to blocking one earlier in this half. Oh, man. It went out the one.
Are you kidding me?
No. You won't see one longer or more perfectly placed.
Oh, man.
Well, actually, they're going to spot it at the 3, but nonetheless, this is something else.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he just destroyed it. And then it just, with the kiss on the sidelines.
Sound like Raft with a kiss. Oh, yeah. He's an icon all of a sudden. He is a dual threat as a place kicker and a punter. He just buried Kansas State at their own 3. Thomas got a couple. Jared Crick and Philip Dillard made the stop.
You know, if I didn't know any better, if I heard the Pelini brothers, I think it might be a magic act or something, you know, Bo Pelini and his brother Carl. But look at what they've done with this defense since they took over. The improvement from before they got here in 2007 to now. And look at the points allowed. Coming into tonight, 11 points per game. They were number 3 behind Florida and Alabama in scoring defense this season.
The Pelini brothers.
Yeah. Doing a magic trick.
Out of Youngstown, Ohio. And Thomas has stood up, maybe got a yard out of it as he had to lean forward just to get that, and that's 3rd and long. You talk about what the defense has done. They've allowed 10 offensive touchdowns all year, 4 of them through the air.
Yeah.
And they haven't given up anything tonight, obviously, except that 1 field goal. There's a look where they rank. Top 15 in 4 major categories and 3rd in the country with only 11 points a game. Kansas State would like 11 points right now. This is a danger zone, too, for Gregory. 3rd down and 7. Got to be careful. From his own end zone. Ooh. They're going to get a 1st down. They threw it to Banks.
You know what? Nebraska finally was saying, okay, every time they've hurt us, whenever they've hurt us, it's been the throws into the middle, the crossing route. So let's sit in there and wait for them this time, which they did, but they made contact.
Pass interference on the defense, number 28. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Oh, boy. And there's that fire of an ex-defensive coordinator and now head coach coming out of Bo Pelini again. Haig actually got his hands on the ball, but
they were so ready for that route that Haig just got a little bit over anxious and made contact before the ball got there.
Kansas State's got 12 minutes and change to do something about a 2-touchdown deficit. Gregory hangs in and fires across the middle again to Banks. This one's complete. Pickup of about 8. Boy, this little guy, you know, they've had some great return guys here that have played at Kansas State. Guys like Terrence Newman and David Allen and Aaron Locke, Andre Coleman, all those guys. This guy's a lot smaller, but he's one of those guys that gives you all kinds of headaches if you're a defensive coordinator. Second and a couple. Can do a number of things in this situation. And they will try to throw. No, they won't. Sue and Crick are there. And Dominic Sue. And you see the bull rush. And then just drags down the quarterback. And he'll give Crick a little bit of that sack, I think, too. That's his sister that's holding up the Supreme Ultimate Husker sign. Third and 7. Gregory has it batted in the air and completes. And it's Sue, got a hand up. And now Mom Bernadette, she's even joining the chant.
When the game is really in the balance for Nebraska and their defense needs a play, pretty much this guy's going to step to the forefront. He's going to get in there. He's going to keep fighting, keep making his way to the quarterback, and then he gets his hands up. I mean, he affects the football game. He affects your running game. He affects your passing game. And you got to account for him every snap.
Polhag now, normally the pooch punter. He'd like to get some distance on this one. And he did. Another great kick. Paul trying to bring it all the way back. Nice stiff arm. He actually got to the corner, but he's going to be dragged down at the 32-yard line. The Sioux are having a party over there in their section. The scene before the game, Bo Pelini, the head coach, with Dominic Sue, one of his 13 seniors, going out on Memorial Stadium field for the last time. Bernadette, his mom, Ingham, his sister, Michael, his dad, all there to meet him. And he just totally took Kansas State out of that last drive, or would-be drive, almost single-handedly.
He's a special player, man, I'll tell you.
Zach Lee, play action. He's going to take a shot as he throws it. And flag down as Zach Lee's down. Troy Butler hit him late, I think.
Yep, hit him late and hit him high.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback, number 21 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Penalties have been a problem tonight for Kansas State on top of their other woes. this is, oof, yeah, not good. Well, Zach Lee's taking some shots tonight. He keeps bouncing back up too. So that moves it all the way out to the 47-yard line. Rex Burkhead will check in at the I-back spot. You see him right behind Zach Lee, number 22. They'll get the call. And got 2 or 3. Aaron?
And Ndamukong Suh has also really helped out this Nebraska offense. And talking to Sean Watson about him, he said going up against him in spring ball gives him nightmares. You know you have to put 2 hats on him, but he's really helped center Jacob Hickman a lot. The two kind of nitpick at each other. They know each other's weaknesses. I asked Sean Watson, I said, what would it be like to scheme against this guy during a regular game? He said, hey, spring's enough. I don't want any part of it. Glad he's on my side.
No kidding.
I tell you what, I'd like to see that list of his weaknesses, too.
It's pretty short.
Yeah, it's a short list.
You can put it on a bar napkin, I think. Here's Burkhead again. And he got about 6 more. You know, you and I and Aaron and our whole group have met with a lot of these young guys this year, and you know, so many of them come to mind that Mark Ingram and C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford, and I can go down the list of all the kids that we've had a chance to spend time with. This is an impressive young man, as I think I've been around in 10 years. He is something special to talk to. Yeah. His family did a great job, obviously, raising him. The Nebraska people did a great job coaching him. I would want him at the next level if I was in the National Football League. Boy, I'd be pulling teeth to try to get him in the draft for next year. Look out, Zach Lee, buried by Joshua Moore.
They finally went for the pass off the option.
Didn't work.
Well, it didn't work because it was a well-timed corner blitz by Kansas State. Watch Joshua Moore coming off the backside. Zach Lee has no idea this is coming and does a nice job just holding on to the football.
Well, Alex Henry hit one about 2 miles down at the 3-yard line last time. He's probably going to aim for the same spot. With Skycam, we'll watch from behind him. This one's going to bounce and make the end zone.
Oh, what's wrong with this guy? Come on.
You can't be perfect every time like Todd Blackledge. Come on. Nebraska with a big lead, 8:23 to play. Time is running out on Kansas State. Coming in, there's how it looks. This is a battle for the Big 12 North title and a trip to the championship game in Arlington, Texas, December 5th. Right now, it's Nebraska's. If they can hold on for the next 8:22. Here's Brandon Banks on an end around. Got a pretty nice block and a stiff arm, and he's run out of bounds right near the first down marker. Arizona's never been to the Rose Bowl. Kansas State still trying to fight its way here to try to get to a bowl game, and the only way to do that is to go to the Big 12 championship. Remember, 2 of their 6 wins came against championship subdivision teams. You can only count 1 of those. So they don't have enough victories unless they win here tonight to even go to a bowl game. So it's an odd situation. You win, you're in the Big 12 title game, and then a bowl game, you lose, you go back to Manhattan, and you plan for next year. First down at the 39. Gregory going to swing it out to Thomas. Made 1-man miss. At the sideline, he might have stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, it looked like he did, but the line judge was running right down behind him and didn't blow his whistle or throw his hat. So they gave him the yardage.
So it's a first down. And they moved the sticks already down to the 48-yard line. We take another look at it.
He had a better shot of it than we did, actually. So
I thought right there, maybe not. Boy, that was a quick toe touch.
Trick play.
They got a Banks going back to the left side again, and he's got 8 or 9 more. Almost looked like the old Fumbarooski.
Yeah.
Brandon Banks, he has been a busy guy tonight.
So the ball actually got to the quarterback, and he was able to kind of shuffle it to there it is.
Underneath from behind.
A little tricky, but see, you can only do that with a little guy like Banks.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be able to hide underneath there.
Not a lot of room for error on how he got it there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
pulling all the stops they need to. Without a 6.5 to go. 2nd and 1. Gregory scans the field, throws, tips, incomplete. Intended for Snipes, and Dillard got a hand on it.
It's kind of a dangerous throw by Grant Gregory.
Yeah.
He's drifted in the pocket a little bit more than I'd like to see him. He rolls out of there, and I don't even think he saw Dillard coming from the outside.
He breathes a sigh of relief that he has another play. This is probably 2 down time already. We're getting late in the 4th quarter. And this is no man's land. If they don't get this first down, they got to go for it. 3rd and yard. Oh, I don't think so.
Great play by Dillard.
Man, you were talking to me earlier today about watching him on film, and he's a good player.
He is. I mean, he's feisty. He's aggressive. He's not an overly big linebacker, but he's very quick, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there, as you saw on that 3rd down and short. Times it up, comes with a full head of steam, and takes down Thomas Lowe short of the first down.
Played at Jenks High School in Tulsa, and they have had more state championships than you can count almost at that program, and in the top 15 in the country again. That short. They got to go, Todd, don't they?
Yeah,
6:21.
yeah,
I mean, they can't kick a field goal from here.
No, they got to go. You know, and normally you'd say, well, you know, that short quarterback sneak should be a high percentage play. But quarterback sneak means you're going right next to
guess who?
Yeah, Mr. Sue and Mr. Crick.
I should say guess Sue. There's 93, 94's right next to him. Probably the ball game right here for Kansas State if they don't get it. Quarterback sneak. They got it. Actually ran right between those two guys, and give Wade Weaver some credit there. The center.
Well, if I had to choose, I'm going to go left of my center. I'm not going to go right. I'm going to go left, away from Sue and at Crick. Partly because Crick is younger, and partly because he's taller, and there's a better chance of your lineman getting better underneath and leverage on him than you get on Sue.
Wade Weibert's got to be sick of looking at those two guys tonight, I would think, though. The center did a nice job. So did the left guard, Kendall. So a new set of downs for Kansas State. Time is...
Yeah, they got to get a little more sense of urgency about themselves right now.
Down to 5.5. Gregory. Pressure in the pocket again. Did he sneak it in there? Nope, incomplete. Intended for Snipes. Now Nebraska trying to win their 8th game of the year. It would be their 4th win in a row. They would win the Big 12 North, regardless of what happens in their game with Colorado coming up next week. Gregory in trouble. His lineman trying to give him time. Lofson, incomplete, intended for his tight end. Astrud is incomplete. All right, Reeves, keep us posted here. 5:17 remaining. 3rd and 10, Kansas State. Trying to get a touchdown. Trying to get a first down. Gregory's going to run for it, and he got it.
Yep.
Tough run
Nice
to the
play.
25.
Nice play by Gregory. And look at Sue running down the field. I mean, this is what makes him special. Now, he rushes the quarterback, and he doesn't give up on the play. Watch his pursuit after the rush.
Oh, man.
That's a 6'4", 300-pound defensive lineman running down the field like that in the 4th quarter.
Another first down, Kansas State. Trying to get to the red zone, but every time they get there, things backfire on them. Gregory has it knocked down at the line again by Ndamukong Suh.
But he's got to set his feet. I mean, he's hopping around too much here. Now, I know those guys make you nervous. I mean, Sue and Crick would make any quarterback nervous. But Grant Gregory's got to settle his feet down a little bit. I mean, they're just moving the whole time. He's just kind of hopping and moving backwards when he doesn't have to all the time.
This guy's taken over the game. 93.
Yeah, well,
we talked about him 3 hours ago that he might, and he is.
Well,
it's amazing that position can change the whole complexion of a football game.
I'll make a comment on that in a second.
This throw is incomplete. He's doing the kind of things only he's a bigger player than like Alan Page used to do. You know, he just changed things.
Well, the guys that I was thinking of when I was in the NFL, the guys that could dictate the game and control the game more than anybody. Howie Long when he played for the Raiders. Yeah. Reggie White.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Lawrence Taylor. They were all defensive linemen that, I mean, they could affect the entire game. And this guy from his inside tackle position can take over a game.
Gregory. He's not going to get his feet set here either. More pressure from Sue, and Turner cleaned it up. And now it's 4th down in a bunch.
Sue forced him to scramble up, and Turner finished him off with a sack. Watch Sue get the pressure and force him up in the pocket. And then Turner came from behind and got the sack.
You know, you always hear coaches talk about high motor guys. Sue's got a Hemi. A big-time Hemi.
Well, his name is Indomitian, but we could call him Indominant if we wanted to.
No doubt. 4th and 12. Again, could be the ball game. Wait a minute. Timeout taken by Nebraska. With 3:47 remaining. The season could close for Kansas State if they can't pick up 12 yards when we come back. The leading defensive tackle duo in the country is doing it again tonight.
Yeah. And if those numbers right there, it would put them both at 65 tackles for the season.
Dead even.
Which would be dead even 1 and 1A.
Wow. Here's the ball game for Kansas State. It's 4th and 12. They've got to get down to the 15-yard line. Gregory lofts it. Incomplete, intended for Banks. Nebraska takes over. And a tough night trying to throw the football for number 6. Yeah. Some of those crossing patterns, that little stuff.
Yep.
But other than
nothing
that,
down the field. Nothing down the field. And again, this defense, I mean, you know, they're for real. I mean, coming into tonight, they were number 3 in the country in scoring defense, which is the ultimate statistic for defense. Right. You know, that's the bottom line. Yeah. Number 1 was Florida, 10.5 points per game. Number 2, Alabama, 10.9. We've seen both of those teams. They're legit. Right. Okay. And this team was number 3 at 11 points a game.
One gave up 3 today. One gave up none today. This one's given up 3. That was on the opening drive of the ball game. A field goal that Kansas State had. Take you back, Big 12 championship, December 4th of '99. Combination of Carell Buckhalter and Eric Crouch, too much for Texas. The black shirt defense sacked Major Applewhite 7 times and intercepted him 3 times on that one. Nebraska beat Texas for the Big 12 title 22-6. Looks like they're going to have a chance for a rematch if the Longhorns hold up their end, because right now there's 3 minutes remaining for Nebraska to get to Arlington, Texas on December 5th of 2009. You'll see it on ABC. All Nebraska has to do is chew up some clock. Hello. Out across the 30 to the 32.
You know where this season really turned for Nebraska was when Oklahoma was here and they beat them 10-3.
Right.
Well, another 3 they've got up on the scoreboard right now, and Nebraska is on the way.
You mentioned that victory over Oklahoma. We talked to Indomitian yesterday. He said with the penalties, I think there were 102 snaps in the game. I said, do you ever get to come out? He said, I think I was out 4 plays that day. Wow, the level he plays at to play almost every snap of every game. And he has been indominant, as Todd called him earlier on this night. Again, 3rd and 5. Bellew. They have the first down. Looks like very close, if not. Depends on the spot.
And, you know, I don't think there's any way that he could win or would win the Heisman Trophy, but I think the guy deserves, you know, if they take 5 guys to New York, I don't know if it's 4 or 5. If they take 5, I think he should be one of the guys that gets invited, because, you know, the award is for the best player in college football, and on this side of the ball, I think he's the best. I mean, he's the most dominant player that I've seen this year.
Got a timeout here. Reminder, Lowe's Senior Class Award signifies a student athlete's excellence in the classroom and on the field, as well as their service to their communities. Here's a look at the finalists. You can log on to seniorclassaward.com to learn more, and you can text the word football to 74567 to cast your votes. Colt McCoy still playing. Tim Tebow had another big day for Florida in a rout. And this guy, well, he's a finalist for the Lombardi. He's a finalist for the Bednarik, the Nagurski, the Lott Awards, all the defensive awards. Yeah. But as Todd said, the big one, as far as a guy that actually makes tackles and all that, and I know Charles Woodson was a return man. Hugh Green finished the highest, didn't he?
Right, yes.
Yeah. So this guy is a defensive lineman. He's as good a player at his position as we've seen all year.
Yeah.
And Mel Kiper thinks he's maybe the best there is at his position, if not one of the best of any position. Nebraska on 4th and 1. Zach Lee puts his head down and burrows, it appears, his way to a first down. And now we don't need this to get too chippy with 2.5 minutes to go, because that first down will just about do it, with Kansas State having one timeout remaining. Bo Pelini's done a really nice job. Only his second year, and they're just getting started. He said, we're not there yet, but they are getting better. And this defense, as you said, is for real. The offense was pretty efficient tonight. Yeah. Zach Lee threw 2 touchdown passes.
Well, again, for their offense, I mean, you know, they had to kind of reinvent themselves, and they figured out, if we take care of the football, you know what, and play good special teams, our defense is good enough that we can win any game we're in.
Hello. Here, Nebraska has controlled things. Once they got their first touchdown, they have completely shut down Kansas State's offense. Burkhead. And he might have another first down. I don't think he ever landed as Fitzgerald tackled him, but it looked like he rolled over that first down marker. And now we're down to a minute 23. So Bill Snyder coming out of retirement after 3 years. 3-time National Coach of the Year, 5-time Conference Coach of the Year in Manhattan for Kansas State. And it's going to be a 6-6 finish. A lot of people didn't think they'd win nearly that many games. They won't be going bowling, though. As I mentioned earlier, they can only count one of those games against the championship subdivision team, so they'll finish at 500.
And the worst part about that for Bill Snyder, and really for any new staff, is not going to a bowl. You lose those extra practice days, right, which are so valuable with a new coaching staff or young players, and that's the biggest thing that affects them right now, because they're done.
Congratulations to the Big 12 North champs, as Bo got a shower he wasn't expecting.
I'll tell you what, now this team defensively can play with Texas. I mean, they can create some problems for Colt McCoy in Texas. The problem is for them is Texas is an awful good defensive football team in their own right.
Exactly it. 4-game winning streak. Another sellout crowd. And another Nebraska win at home. They're the Big 12 North Division winners. They'll make their 5th appearance in the championship game December 5th. And if Texas wins tonight, that's who it'll be against. Two guys that have known each other a long time meet at midfield. But for Nebraska, a big, big night. For 13 seniors, an emotional night. And now they can just let the happiness flow. The black shirts did their job. Did they ever? They gave up a field goal on Kansas State's opening drive, and that was it. Let's go down to Aaron.
All right, Brad, thanks so much. Nice little shower there. We talked about it yesterday. Your team made it their #1 goal to dominate the Big 12 North. What does it mean to you guys to finally have it?
Well, you know, it was, we fought through some adversity this year, and it's an accomplishment and puts us in a championship game. We still got one more. We got Colorado in a short week coming up on Friday, so we'll enjoy it tonight and get back to work.
Ndamukong Suh runs off the field. Another game that he takes over. What has it been like coaching this guy?
I mean, he's special. He's a special player. He's been special to the program, and I can't say enough about him. And really, this whole group of guys, there's a lot of character in that locker room.
Well, we know you have a date right now with the Texas Longhorns in the Big 12 championship. What do you look forward to most in that matchup?
Well, first things first, I got Colorado. I know Texas is a hell of a team, but we got to take care of Colorado first, and we'll enjoy it tonight and get back to work.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, Brad.
Bo's working that gum. A gentleman on the plane with me the other day said, does he change gum at halftime? He's going to have to change shirts tonight because he's all wet, courtesy of the bath of a winner. They take the North Division 17-3. Nebraska wins it on their home field. That's going to wrap it up from Lincoln. For Todd Blackledge, Aaron Andrews, and our entire crew, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Lincoln, Nebraska. As the Cornhuskers take the North, they're headed to Arlington, Texas on December 5.